In this video we're going to look at the new Tomb Kings Necrosphinx painting following the previous assemblies tutorial. So I've magnetized this guy up in a previous one, and here's what it's going to look like all painted up. I chose to do a different sort of a finish than you see in on the GW site in White Dwarfs. Done a bit of a patina finish. So I'll show you how to do that. So to start off, I used a dark brown spray paint. Just a flat brown, very similar to a scorched brown, so I spray painted everything that way. Now for the patina, what I wanted was an aqua sort of a color, and so I chose the Reaper triad here, this marine teal triad. It's similar, this darkest one would be similar to Dark Angel's green mixed with Hawk turquoise if you're using GW paints, and then sort of more Hawk turquoise up here, and then maybe mix in a bit of light blue or something. So the general idea is I'm painting the darkest color first, which is what you see here, as well over here, and then I'm going to work the lighter colors into the crevices. So it's kind of an opposite sort of a look. So that's a deep ocean there, and just painting that on everything. So anything that I thought would be this kind of a, well, I think they did it as a marble. I chose to do this in the same color. I could have done that gold, but that's what I got. So now what I'm doing is I'm using the next ones up, and I'm just painting a watered down version of it. Not quite a wash, but just painting it directly into the crevices. And what you start seeing is a little bit lighter in here. You see it maybe over there a bit more, down at the feet. There we go. So I'm trying to make that as smooth as possible. But the idea is that the older the patina, the lighter it gets, and in the cracks there, it lightens right up. It doesn't get worn off. So I'm working in the lightest now all the way into the edges. So it's just a fine line. I'm using a really fine brush for that. And just about done with that. You can see, trying to get into these cracks here, and yeah. So now I'm doing the opposite. It's almost as if I'm doing this all backwards. So now that I've got the lightest color in the cracks, I want to make it look like the high areas have worn through back to the original bronze or whatever it is. So I'm doing a dry brush of scorched brown. So that's just picking up the high spots here, and it's doing it in a kind of a subtle kind of a way. And I've got that all over here as well. So again, it's meant to look like the original finish is wearing through the oxidization. And then after that, I'm trying to just do a little bit less of each of these. So ancient bronze and then antique gold from Reaper, or dwarf bronze and what's that one? Burnished? No, not burnished. Shining gold from GW. So I'm just trying to pick up the edges there. And you can see that the gold's coming through there a bit. Depending on what angle you look at this at, you can see more or less gold. And just trying to build it up so the edges are the only things really shiny. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And now I'm going to move on to the rest. So ancient bronze base coat, or dwarf bronze if you're using GW, and just painting that on all the other areas. This model isn't going to have a lot of colors, so these are the two base colors. And then I'm going to put a Devil in Mud wash on there so you can see how that goes on. So it's nice and thick wash, pooling in all the crevices. And then I'm going to try to build up the gold again with the ancient bronze on almost all the areas, and then antique gold just on the edges of everything. Now, there's a bit out of focus, but you can see there how I've painted up on each of those feathers. Just enough to give it a hint. It doesn't have to be super accurate. Okay, now one of the accent colors I chose to use was this purple kind of color. I figured that I looked at my color wheel, and I'm trying to pick evenly spaced colors, and kind of had the blue-green here, and this I figured was like a yellowy orange, and so this was meant to be a complement. So I just did that on some of these accent areas, and then building up with the other two there. In the end, I wasn't overly happy with it. It just kind of seemed a little half-baked, so I decided to put some solid blue on everything. So this is just a blue triad, kind of like an ultramarine blue, just your standard blue. So I did that in all these areas here that have those zigzag kind of pattern. That's all going to be blue on everywhere. And one more color to get another sort of a teal-y color there. This is this cloudy sea, so there's more like a bit more of a greeny tinge to it than this. The patina has more of a blue. This is a bit more green. That's one of the benefits of using the Reaper paints, is you have all these subtle differences, so you don't have to mix anything up. So I chose to do those in some of these insets, and there's the blue, you can see. So just building up, that's the cloudy sea there, just painting that up on the raised areas. Here's just some of the, this is medium ballast from the hobby store, train shop. And I'm using this Dune Shadow Desert Khaki, Desert Sand, fittingly, to make sort of a sandy look there. And I decided to glue some scorpions on, so I did them this bluey kind of a color just to make them look a bit different. Actually, these ones here aren't painted yet at all. That's just the gray. And I put a couple of tufts of static grass on there. And yeah, those guys are there. You can see kind of the blue has been painted on there. And that's it. It's all done. So again, like I said, I didn't do a lot of crazy details. Just wanted to get this tabletop ready with some nice color schemes, make it look a bit different. It's unfortunate that the metallics don't come through well in my light box I've got here. I think this looks a bit better in person, but that's my opinion. So tried to have some complementary colors, a bit more greeny blue, a little bit of this reddy purple, and yeah, I think it turned out okay. I'll be doing more videos of the other loadouts of this guy, or this kit, because I've magnetized all the areas. The wings in the front there, as well as the tail. A bit higher look on him. Closer in on the face. There's a bit of the detail there on the sides. You can see the patina there a bit better, how it looks kind of worn. And there's a size comparison. He's very similar size to a giant. The giant base has a custom size base, so this one here is actually a little bit longer. It's just a regular chariot base. But in terms of height, even though this is a weird angle, they are very similar height. So you can expect it to be about the same size as a regular giant. Hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said, I'll be back to do some more of the loadouts of this kit. See you next time.